wilderness of the Kenai River, the passage can be deadly.
I've lived on the Kenai Peninsula my whole life, and
going like this, fighting for its life, it's always kind of heart-wrenching.
For this animal, and it was sad to watch this beautiful creature fighting and suffering, and nothing that any of us could do.
For 20 minutes, the moose frantically cuts a path to nowhere through the ice. Stephanie realizes the animal cannot save itself and calls 911. Wildlife fish and game expert Ted Spraker is one of the first on scene.
The ice on the river was dangerously thin. The shore were always being very cautious, because if you got too close, then you'd be in the same situation with the moose.
Kenai River is near freezing. Incredibly, the moose can endure these temperatures for about 5 hours. After that, hypothermia will set in, and she could die. Rescuers have to act fast, but pulling a 700-pound animal through the cracking ice seems impossible.
We were talking about options on what to do.
The stressed animal doesn't turn on her savior. With the help of a 30-foot fiberglass pole, he's able to snag the moose's neck.
Once that was accomplished, it was time to pull the moose out of the ice. But that's when we knew we were going to have problems. Because the moose had broken so much of the river, and the angle we were pulling, we were pretty sure that the moose was going to be pulled underwater.
Right then, the moose disappeared. You can see it on the video. All you can see is kind of a hoof.
It seemed like a lifetime, but the moose went underwater, and it was underwater for probably 10 or 15 seconds or more, and then it popped out on the other side. But when it popped out on the other side, it had to break through the ice to get the animal up on the ice. And that was the part where everybody had their heart in their throat. Guys were cheering and carrying on, and it was just kind of like a Broncos beating the Packers.
2 hours of battling the elements and fighting to stay alive pay off. The moose is finally able to stand on her own.
It was just another day in Soldotna, Alaska. My father-in-law just happened to be videoing the moose rescue, and none of us even knew he was videoing it. He did a really good job. And
a documentary video crew hits the mean streets of Moscow, Russia, tracking cops on a war against crime. Police are busting a ring of cab drivers suspected of robbing and murdering rich clients. Undercover officers round up who they believe to be the most serious offenders, based on tips from informants. The action is brutal, but the message is clear. Accused or convicted, crime does not pay in Moscow. The differences between American and Russian law enforcement are visually obvious, including their methods of interrogation. Cops in the United States would never get away with tactics like this. But in Russia, street justice is tolerated. Police are determined to get the message out to criminals that violent crime will not be permitted. As for the accused, they can only pray their treatment at the hands of the court system will be more lenient. Well, our next tape involves a bank robber, and Brad Kuhlman is there with his video camera and a group of friends. Happy New Year, Kenny. A crowd of 25,000 revelers jams the street in front of Caesars Casino, waiting for the clock to strike midnight. As Brad tapes the merry... Okay. The crowd loves it. But local police aren't amused. The guy makes it to the top of the traffic light, and although he seems pretty high already, he obviously wants to get higher. The crowd roars its approval. The public turns fickle, though, and some people start pelting him with snowballs. Ignoring the incoming fire, this nightcrawler finally makes it to the main traffic light. As he perches there 15 feet above this giant outdoor party, the crowd counts down to the new year. Finally, the guy seems to have had enough and begins to make his way back down to the ground. Police are waiting at the bottom of the pole. But the guy decides to turn the street into his own personal mosh pit. When the police move in to grab him, a mini riot breaks out. As the uproar continues, police seem to be running out of the holiday spirit. Keep an eye on the lower right corner of your screen. That's gotta hurt. When it's all over, about 100 of the revelers are in jail, and dozens have minor injuries to remind them of their little party. All in all, a heck of a way to start the new year.
And the man was charged with disorderly conduct. We'll be right back.
His crowning glory. And unwrap it. And unwrap it. And keeps on unwrapping it until it reaches its full majestic length. 16 feet, 4 inches. Realizing it's an impossible job, you pack up your scissors and depart, but not before getting a picture worth 100 baht. That's $1.86 American for free.
Monday on Real TV. It's Real Danger on Real TV. UN Peacekeeping.